Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do a chatty video. It's time, we are in a new season. It is the fall autumn season and we're going to be talking about all the palettes in my collection that just give me the fall autumn vibes. So for me, fall autumn, that's kind of my niche. It's kind of where I sit a lot of the time with my makeup. It's the kind of palettes I tend to gravitate towards as well, apart from spooky palettes and grungy palettes, but there is a few grunge in here. So when I was picking out all of my palettes, there's a good few. A good few. So I have 15 palettes to show you guys, which I think is the most out of all of these like seasonal palette videos that I've done. And I'm not surprised. I'm actually surprised it wasn't more. So yeah, but I went through my whole collection, rifled through them all and picked out all the ones that gave me the vibes. And yeah, I'm very excited to show you all. I cannot wait to show all these, and I'm just so happy that we're in this season. I love summer. Okay, don't get me wrong. I love summer for the weather. I'm a June baby. I am always cold. I don't like being cold. I like the warmth. I like being too warm. I'd rather be too warm than too cold. But I like everything that happens from like September onwards. I love Halloween, I love Christmas, I love the fall leaves, I love the fireworks, the smell of the bonfires and stuff like that. I love the smells of all the autumn scents, the lush things that come out, spooky season, and my spooky season on my channel. So yeah, I love everything that happens there. I just wish it was warmer. That's all. So we have a lot of palettes to get through, so I don't want to ramble too much. Before I do get into all my palettes, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. So firstly, this look is filmed. It will be live on my channel, or is live on my channel. So go hit subscribe down below to see that either coming or has come already. And my Instagram is down below for some extra content, as well as my TikTok if you want to go give both those a follow. That's where I post all my pictures and everything like that, so go follow both of those. And more housekeeping, yes, my hair is done. I mentioned it in the video for this look. I literally got it done today, and you will see kind of my hair change a little bit over this next month because I have a few videos kind of filmed without my hair done, with my hair done. So I don't know exactly which order we're going to go up in, but you know, we'll just, yeah. My hair looks really good right now, so I'm happy. So housekeeping done, let us get into all my fall autumn palettes. I don't have them in any particular order. This is not a ranking video. This is not a top 15. Like, I'm not going to go from my least favorite to my favorite. It's not like that. I'm literally just going to grab and go. I have them done in little piles in no particular order. It's just kind of the way I pile them up. So that's where we're going to go. So let us start with a smaller palette. So this one is from Kidos. It's one of their Futurism palettes, and I love these palettes, and I still think there should be a petition, or I might set up a petition to get Kidos to bring these back and start bringing out more of them, because can you imagine one of these in a spooky theme? Like, oh my god, yes. But this palette is the Cyber Bronze. Look at the packaging. Oh, the packaging just gets me every time with these. It's all like little foiled parts on it. Love it. This one is definitely my favorite Futurism palette that I own, and also the most autumn Futurism palette. This is the color story here. I will pop up swatches of each palette as we go, so yeah, you can see them all up close, and I've got videos on all of the, almost all of these. There's I think one that I haven't done a video on, but anything that I have a video on will be on my channel, so just search the palette on my channel and you will find it. But I think this is stunning. It is neutral, mostly like half neutral, half pops of color, weird colors and stuff like that. This silver is beautiful. It got a gorgeous mustardy brown here, warm brown, and then a super deep chocolate brown here as well. You've got a red metallic, and then this kind of rusty sort of metallic here as well. I always say this when I talk about this palette, but in my 2 looks 1 palette that I done with this was one of my favorite looks that I've ever done on myself, and I felt the most pretty I've possibly ever felt, where I used the mustard, the silver, and the deep brown. I just adored how the look turned out. So I love this palette. Kidos, please bring them back. Next up, onto Melt. We've got 2. So I wasn't sure if I was going to do both of these. I knew I was definitely going to do one, which I'll show you in a second. I wasn't sure if I was going to do this one. When I opened it, I was like, yeah, it really does give me those autumn vibes. This is the Smoke Sessions. So I got this palette because it's all green, and I love green. I am a Slytherin, and green is just my colour. I just love it so much. I don't love green because I'm a Slytherin, but it really helps. When I'm getting like anything Harry Potter style and I want it in my house colour, it is my favourite colour. So it's all different types of green. You've got more khaki and golden sort of shades here, and then you've got more teal emerald sort of shades over here. Now I always mention this when I do talk about this palette, but I do wish there was 2 more shades, one on either side here. Some sort of like this kind of shade in a matte form, and then like this sort of shade in a matte form, just to have, because the 2 mattes are the darkest shades in the palette, and it's a bit hard for me and my pale skin to blend them out, but once you kind of work with it, it's fine. I just wish there was that little extra mid-tone matte in each tone here to fill it out a little bit more and give it something else, so I don't have to pull anything else in when I'm using it. But I love this palette. Mel's formula is amazing. I do love it. And then the one I definitely knew was going to be in this video, this is the Rust palette. There she is, beautiful. And I'm just actually looking at it now. The back of it even looks like autumn leaves. Can you see that? It's beautiful. So this one is mostly matte. There's 1, 2, 3 shimmers in here. And it's a neutral, warm, cozy sort of palette is the way I would describe this. I do wish, again, of one little thing, I wish this shade was not this shade, and I wish it was a shimmer, and then I'd be perfect. Like just one pale shimmer and I'd be so happy. But the dark matte here is beautiful. This beautiful yellow ochre shade, kind of a mustardy shade as well, just like grungy autumn. It's so fab. And you'll see I do like a grunge and I love an autumn, so when they're combined, it's a winner. Next up is a palette that you can't get anymore, and this is one of the ones I don't have a video on, but I just love this palette so much and I think it's so different from the brand. This is from MAC, which not a lot of people talk about MAC palettes really. And this is the Feast Your Eyes palette, and it's just so interesting. I'm gonna try not to blind you guys here. It's interesting because the 3 matte, what did you 3? Matte matte shades, this one, and this one, are kind of like a cream sort of feel to them, kind of like the paint pots from MAC. If you've ever used those, that's kind of exactly what it feels like. Especially this one is basically painterly but drier, but still kind of creamy. It's very hard to describe. And you've got beautiful warm, it's kind of brighter on the eye, but a warm orangey brown. And you've got this beautiful purple berry down here, and then your neutral up here. I love the shimmers in this palette. The shimmers are stunning, and gorgeous copper down here, and the packaging just gives you that like deep autumn night sort of vibe to it as well. Next up we've got some Juvia's Place. I do have 2 Juvia's Place, but I think I've split them. But anyway, we'll get to the other one soon. This is one of their minis, and this is the chocolate palette. I kind of grabbed a few neutral palettes in this little thing because they just give me that kind of vibe. And this gives me like the perfect little warm smoky eye for the autumn winter sort of season. I will be doing a winter video of this as well, like my winter palettes, but my winter, and then I'll do Christmas because I do have a few Christmas palettes as well. But yeah, I love these little palettes. I do kind of wish both of these weren't almost the same. I actually wish one of them was swapped out with a shade this exact colour but in a shimmer form, and then I'd be absolutely delighted with it. But I love it. I love this warm kind of reddish brown here. I love that ochre shade. I love the shimmers. Again, I done my first impressions with this. I done a smoky eye with this and it was stunning. Then we've got this one, and I can't remember if I actually posted my video on this. I know I filmed it, but I don't know if I posted it because I'm pretty sure it got discontinued while I was using it. And I don't know if I bothered posting it, which is really bad because I love the brand and I love the person. But this is the Odin's Eye palette that they done with Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner, and I love Annette. I watch all her videos. I adore her. This is the Giant Wolves palette. It's just the palette wasn't out very long. That's really all. I got the Giant Wolves for 2 reasons. 3 reasons. 1, I love Annette. 2, the wolves, giant doggos. I mean, come on, I'm a doggy girl. And it's a big grungy dream. So you've got like a black sort of shade here. You've got deeper kind of like a deep blue, deep like aubergine, deep green. You've got this gorgeous like pooey green, which I know sounds awful, but it's not. It's amazing. Little pops of colour. You've got multi-chromes, you've got shimmers, duochromes, foils, everything like that. As I said, you'll have swatches, so you will see the swatches in action regardless. But I just think it's such a fun, different kind of grungy palette. It's just really nice that you can do the little pops of colour but still have a really deep look. So next up is one from Shroud, and I was actually going to keep this for my spooky palettes, but I don't know, I just feel like I want it in this video. So I'm going to show it to you now. If I forget I put it in here and you see it in my spooky video, my spooky palette video, just don't mention it. Just ignore it, okay? I forgot. But I'm going to put it in now because I think it fits. I do think it fits. This is the Arcana palette from Shroud. Now I love Shroud. I know there was a bit of a AWOL situation with Shroud. I'm not sure what the situation is. I don't know. I don't look into any of that kind of stuff. But this palette is beautiful and Shroud's formula is beautiful. This is like a witchy kind of palette, and I think that the vibes of this is so fun. These kind of muted versions of all these colours, and also if you look at the palette, it's a Harry Potter palette. Am I wrong? No, I'm not, because you've got the gold and the crimson, or like this one down here. You've got your silver, not silvers, your deep emeralds here. We're kind of like murky silvers. They're taupes, but they're silvers. You've got like blue and bronze, and you've got your yellow, and there's no black. But you know what I mean? The colours are there. Some of them anyway are there. It's just very kind of witchy, kind of broody palette, if that makes sense. And I just love this palette so much. I love the formula. I need to play with it again. I might do a get ready with me eventually. I don't know when. Could be spooky season, who knows? But eventually. Next up we've got Ace Beauté, and I love the colour story of this palette. This is the Flare palette. Now this is the old Ace Beauté formula, which a lot of people didn't like. I like it. It just takes a little bit more building. That's really all. But I mean, you know, I work with so many different formulas between all my palettes and my actual work life as well. My real job. This is not my job because I don't get paid enough for it to be my real job. But my actual job, I work with so many different formulas. So I'm kind of used to adjusting my technique to formulas. But I do have the Ace Beauté palette Opoly, and that is a stunning formula. I do think they definitely upgraded it, probably for the better, but I still love this palette so much. This is like an autumn rainbow, because like look at the chartreuse in here. Is that not just beautiful? Oh, I love a chartreuse. You've got gorgeous kind of mauvey shades up here. You've got your kind of reds, and they're bright, like they are bright pops, but there's a muted element to some of the shades in here, like the brown and then this teal down here. I just think you get a really fun kind of look about it. I would maybe swap out one of these two here, because that's a shimmer, but I'd swap out one of these two for maybe like either a green shimmer or like a full-on yellow shimmer, or like a mustard yellow shimmer. So like this shade in a shimmer form, and I think that'd be really fun. But otherwise, I do really like the palette. I think it's a very fun colour story. Next up, we've got a big palette. And this one I have done one video of. It was for spooky season last year. It was like one of the first ones I done, I think. It's called like Poison Apple or something like that. It was called. It was a Get Ready With Me. And this is a Morphe palette. It's my only Morphe palette that I actually own. And this is the Boss Mood. It's a 35M palette. And oh, she's big. I hate the fact that this doesn't go all the way back because I have to hold it all the way up. This is like a big autumn palette, very big. You've got your black down here. You've got a deep. Oh, I've never used that shade. That's a pretty shade. I really like that shade. I love the idea of all these like greens, murky greens, cat greens, pops of brighter green, and you've got your orange, purples, and reds. It's just all those colors that turn out and fall as well, but in a bigger and kind of cheaper form as well. So if you wanted a cheaper alternative, I don't know if you can still get this, but I know they had one similar to this, but it had less greens in it. I really like this one. I actually bought it off my friend who was getting rid of it, and yeah, I think it's beautiful. I really enjoyed it. Oh, that's a pretty colour too. See, I don't use it that often, so I haven't seen it. This is like a chartreuse with like a pink fleck in it. That's very pretty. So yeah, I would definitely want to dip into this a little bit more and see what I could do with it. So if you want to see something with it, I don't know if anyone even cares anymore about Morphe or this palette, but you can let me know in the comments. Okay, I had my palettes in like 3 piles. So the first one was like a really small pile because it was all my long palettes. The next one was like my kind of longer ones, but kind of like rectangle shaped ones. And I've done that pile. Now we're on the last pile. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 palettes left to go. So we're going to go with another little one. Back to the small palette, and this is the Huda Beauty Wild Jaguar palette. It's one of their Obsessions palettes, and I love the Obsessions palettes. It's just a nice kind of grunge, kind of autumn vibe because you've got this beautiful burgundy. I do kind of wish this was in here and maybe add in a different matte. So I don't know, maybe like a mustard kind of coloured matte just to go with that gold shade. But otherwise, I love this palette. I love the looks I've done with this. This is a beautiful topper duochrome in here. And the shimmers are stunning. Like, it just gives you all those kind of cozy vibes as well. Next, I'm pretty sure this was my favourite palette of the year last year, or was up there anyway in my favourite palettes. And this is the Fantasy Cosmetica Druid palette. And it's so pretty and it's so autumn. Just makes me happy when I see this palette. You've got what, 4 mattes, 5 shimmers, beautiful duochromes, and this one down here is one of the ones that I always talk about when I try out Fantasy Cosmetica palettes, because I have 3 currently. I've used this one and another one so far. I haven't used my 3rd one yet, but it's like hard pressed. It feels like the kind of shadow that's not going to work very well, but it works amazingly even though it's hard pressed. It's weird, I don't know, but this beautiful, look at that chartreuse kind of limey shimmer, it's stunning. Gorgeous duochrome up here, a beautiful kind of neutral tan sort of shade, and you've got gorgeous kind of like that, what would you call that, like a deep yellow green shade, gorgeous foresty green, warm brown, a beautiful purple. Just autumn. We just love it. This is my next Juvia's Place palette, and obviously it's going to be the Nomad palette. I mean, look, she looks like a little kind of pumpkin patch witch, and I love it. This is just everything. I always loved it. I think this is my favourite. I'm pretty sure when I ranked my Juvia's Place palettes, this is what I had as number 1. Pretty sure. I love this colour down here. It's like a, again, pooey green, but in the best way. Gorgeous green up here, but a very weird looking green, but it's beautiful. Beautiful yellows, orange, 2 shimmers. What I do always say about this palette is I would maybe not have both of these shades, and instead I would have this yellow, this shade, as a shimmer here, and then maybe another shimmer like a green shimmer, like more like this kind of shade up here as a shimmer, or even this shade here as a shimmer, just to give us a little bit more shimmer variety, because there's only 2 in the palette. But otherwise I love this. I loved creating my looks for this as well. Now next up is one I have used, but I don't know if you've fully seen it yet, because I don't know exactly in what order my videos are going up right now. This is the Lois Cosmetics Meet Me in the Underworld palette, and this is such an autumn palette. I love this. I have used it. I've done my first purchase of my 2 looks on palette on it, so I have given it my full go that I normally do, and it's just beautiful. Oh my god, it's so pretty. Again, foresty greens, the gold, the warm shades. There's a black in here as well, the berries and the reds, terracotta shades. There's neutrals, but there's a little bit of a murkiness about them. And the shimmers in this, there's 16 shades. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shimmers. I'd maybe put 1 more in there, but I'm happy with 7, and the shimmers in here are beautiful. They work really well. Your darker shade is a matte, lighter shade is a shimmer, which I always enjoy. I loved playing with this. The shimmers in here aren't like super, they're kind of like Juvia's Place shimmers, where they're not super like super glittery topper, duochrome, multichrome, that kind of style. They're more like your classic foil shades, but my god, are they foiled and do they pack a punch. The mattes blend beautiful. Like I've only recently just used this, so it's very fresh in my head how this all works, but I just love how this looks. Oh my god, it's so pretty. And then our second last palette, and this was one I was kind of unsure about putting in, because I mean, well, 1, she's very dirty, she's very well loved, but I don't know if a lot of people would consider this an autumn palette, but for me it is. I don't know why. This is the Give Me Glow Grunge palette. I don't know if they still do this anymore, but it is one of my favorite palettes, and it's very like kind of early 2000s sort of style packaging, and the inside is just like cozy neutrals for me, with the little bits of color here. You've got a black as well here, the beautiful terracotta. Love this shade up here. I do like this shade, but I could swap it out for another shimmer, maybe like this kind of shade as a shimmer, or even this shade as a shimmer, or a dark brown shimmer even would be quite nice. But Give Me Glow's formula is just immaculate. Like the mattes blend so easy and they're so pigmented, and the shimmers are just shine, high shine, no matter what shade you pick. And I just love this palette so much. I think it's so pretty, very much me as a neutral palette, like a grungy neutral. And then our last palette is from Beauty Bay, and it is a little bit of a brighter version of like the autumn tones, and this is the Wilderness palette. This one came out a while ago, like a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, I'm not too sure, but it is autumn, but in a brighter, punchier sort of way with these like kind of bright reds, the greens, the blue as well. Blue, you don't really find a lot of autumn themed palettes. Gorgeous metallic lime green here. This mustardy orange sort of shade. Gorgeous greens. This one up here is beautiful. I could swap this out for something else, maybe another shimmer, maybe like an orange shimmer or something like that. But otherwise, like the Beauty Bay 20 pan palettes are the best ones, absolutely. The colour stories are always stunning. They are very curated and all that kind of stuff. So they just give me like loads of inspiration when I see them, and I just really enjoyed using this palette. It was so fun. So, am I missing anything? No, I don't think so. Let us do our little outro. Okay, that is all of the palettes in my collection currently. I may do some in the future if my palettes change or I get more palettes, I don't know, that give me the fall autumn vibes, that have those kind of foresty colours, the changing leaves colours, the warm and cozy vibes. Just give me all those like pumpkin spice, pumpkin patch sort of like feels with them, and I love all these palettes. I'm having so much fun doing these little kind of seasonal themed palette videos. I cannot wait for my spooky season. I keep thinking in my head, I'm like, oh, that's a spooky one. That's a spooky one. I have so many. I used to have none, like, or one or two. And I was like, I want Halloween themed palettes. I want spooky palettes. And now I have an abundance. And I'm so happy, and I want more. So many more. But the autumn ones I will always gravitate towards because that's just a vibe I'm always in. I just love those kind of tones, the mustards, the greens, the khakis, the burgundies, all those kind of ones, the chartreuses, like everything like that. I love it so much. So I want to know in the comments down below, give me your list of the palettes in your collection that give you all the autumn vibes. Are they any of them the same as mine? Some of them might be because they are very much autumn themed palettes. But some might be different for you because you might get a different feel. It might be in a different part of the world and autumn feels different for you guys. Yeah, I just want to know. So let me know down in the comments. If you did like this video, give me a big thumbs up down below. It's the quickest, simplest and easiest way to give me a little bit of support. Get me around 4 people, and also let me know that you liked the video, and I will continue to do many more. And don't forget to subscribe down below to see many more videos coming up, to see one of these palettes in action a little bit more, because I think it's going to be the first impressions up for the Meet Me in the Underworld palette, and then two looks one palette after this video. So hit subscribe for the 2 looks video. And also spooky season is coming. She's coming. I'm prepping. I am prepping. I'm trying to plan around my holiday that I have, and I'm stressed, but it's fine. We're fine. I'll get as much as I can done. And as I said in the beginning, my Instagram is linked down below. I post all my up close eye pictures and full face pictures of all of my looks. And my TikTok is down there for a little bit of extra content if you want to go give both of those a follow. So that is it. That is our autumn palettes. We've got 3 more of these seasonal videos. And I know that sounds weird because you would think it's only going to be 4, but like spooky palettes is going to be 1, winter palettes, and then probably Christmas. Unless I combined winter and Christmas together, it might just be 2 videos. But I have to do a whole separate spooky video because otherwise I'd have 100 palettes in this video. That's why. So I will see you in the next video, guys.